Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Kathy McCune with the Foundation, and I'd just like to welcome you all this morning and thank you for coming. And I need my glasses after all. They gave me 5 minutes, but we're over, so I'm just going to talk for a second. This is our 7th annual Breast Cancer Awareness Luncheon, and we are really so thrilled to see a full house again. I want to take just a few minutes to go over a couple housekeeping details with you. As you can see on your tables are centerpieces of beautifully, individually hand-designed sticks. And those are available for sale. You can bid on the ones at your table, or you can bid on ones at other tables, and there are a few spare ones out front. There are pink clipboards on your table where you can put your bid, and we'll announce toward the end of the luncheon that the bidding is closing, and the winning top bid will take home their centerpiece. So have fun with that. All proceeds this year are going to go to the emergency food bank. We just thought after how our city was impacted by the tornado, and we know there are a lot of families still impacted, that we know emergency food box needs support, and so we chose to do that this year. The other proceeds from your ticket sales today still go toward the Prevent Fund, and on your table you'll see a pink envelope and a donation card if you want to give additional money to the Prevent Fund at this time too. That's welcome at any point. More of your money this year from your registration fee helped to go to the Prevent Fund due to the gracious donation of JBS. And let's see, where's our JBS table? Would you guys like to stand up? JBS donated all the pork for the salads today, and we'd also like to thank Edgar. I don't know if he's back there, the chief chef out here, who helped create the lovely salad that we're having. Last year, when we got done with the breast cancer luncheon, our wonderful chairperson, Judy Adlin, came up with, I have an idea for next year. And I've seen these sticks, and they're cool, and we could paint them, and they're neat. And then afterwards, came across a saying, a single twig breaks, but a bundle of twigs stays strong. And it just tied in so well with what we were doing and the strength of the message that we always try to share this year, or every year, and want to share again this year. That was a saying that came from the Shawnee warrior chief, I can't never say his name, Temiksha. Is that right? Huh? Tecumseh. And I just want to read a bit of his one famous poem to you called The Way of Life. So you live your life that the fear of death can never enter your heart. Trouble no man about his religion, respect him in his views, and demand that he respect yours. Love your life, perfect your life, beautify all things in your life. Seek to make your life long and a service to your people. Show respect for all men, but grovel to none. When you arise in the morning, give thanks for the morning light, for your life and strength. Give thanks for the food and for the joy of living. If you see no reason for giving thanks, the fault is yours. So, thank you for coming together as individual twigs today to form the bundle of strength that supports breast cancer and breast cancer awareness. And enjoy your lunch. We'll start the program in a while. I'd like to introduce to you our next speaker. We're going to start our speaker portion of the afternoon, and we know you can continue eating and enjoying your lunch as people talk. I have the honor to introduce Lori Murphy-Stokes, who is our Vice President of Nursing for Unity Point Health.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of Unity Point Health Marshalltown, I want to welcome all of you to the 7th Annual Breast Cancer Awareness Luncheon and thank the Unity Point Health Marshalltown Foundation for their support and sponsorship of this worthy event. Over 200 of you have taken time out of your busy schedules and come together to raise awareness of breast cancer risk, the value of screening and early detection and treatment options available to women and men who are diagnosed with breast cancer. More than 249,000 people in the United States are diagnosed each year with breast cancer, and nearly 41,000 of those die. So all of the money that we raise today is going to go to helping lower that number. This year, the Unity Point Health Marshalltown's Foundation, in a community partnership with the McFarland radiologist, were able to offer 20 free mammograms to patients who would have otherwise not afforded them. Since the beginning of this program, they have been able to help over 120 women in the early screening and detection of breast cancer. So let's give them all a round of applause. For those of you that I have not met, I am Lori Murphy-Stokes. I am the Vice President of Nursing at Unity Point Health Marshalltown. I joined the team here in May and have felt a very warm welcome for all the coworkers that I work with, the patients that I've met, and the community members also. I began my nursing career as a staff nurse in the neonatal intensive care unit, but for the past 28 years I've been in a leadership position in the Women and Children's Services at Unity Point Health in Waterloo. So, advocating for and supporting women's health care issues really does hold a special place in my heart. Since its inception in May of 2017, the Unity Point Health Marshalltown's commitment has been to keep healthcare local. I'm very proud to announce that on Monday of this week, actually October 1st, a shining example of that commitment, the newly named Women's Care Clinic was opened. This clinic currently employs 3 nurse midwives, and we are actively recruiting for 2 obstetrician gynecologists. We also recently opened a new pediatric clinic with our pediatric nurse practitioner, Callie Williams, and she is accepting new patients in the family medicine clinic space that is just adjacent to the hospital and actually directly across from our new women's care clinic. So our goal is to grow the Women and Children's service line and to keep care local for our community's childbearing, child rearing, GYN, and primary care health needs for years to come. In addition, Unity Point Health Marshalltown has also shown this local commitment by bringing the Unity Point Waterloo Community Cancer Center here to Marshalltown one day a month, and we hope to also grow that over time. So in closing, I would like to now introduce our next speaker, Julie Gleason. Julie graduated from the University of Iowa with a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing. She started her career in emergency medicine and then returned to school at Allen College in Waterloo to become a family nurse practitioner. After graduation, Julie started with the Cedar Valley Cancer Center, which is now known as the Unity Point Community Cancer Center in Waterloo, where she has practiced for almost 8 years. Please join me in welcoming Julie to share with us what's new in fighting cancer.
Thank you, Lori. It's so nice to be here. Like she said, I work at the Unity Point Community Cancer Center in Waterloo. I've been there almost 8 years. I thoroughly enjoy cancer patients, but do love my breast cancer patients. And with my mother-in-law, who is a breast cancer survivor, just dear to my heart. So I'm here to talk a little bit about new cancer, what's going on in the cancer realm for breast cancer. You know, there hasn't been a lot of new therapies out there. You know, there's newer therapies, sometimes these immunotherapies for lung cancer and some of the other things, so we're waiting, you know, if any of those things are going to pop up in breast cancer. We still have our traditional hormone type therapy and chemotherapy, but recently, this year was published a new study called the Taylor-X study, and this was a phase 3 clinical trial, originally opened in 2006, and it was 10,000 women, over 10,000 women were in this study. And what the study showed was that there is no benefit from chemotherapy for about 70% of the patients with the most common type of breast cancer, stage 1 early cancer, no lymph node involvement, that's estrogen positive, progesterone positive, and HER2 negative. Those are testing we do on the tumor to see how we target therapy and how we treat those patients. So this is big news because we're tailoring patients' care specifically to them based on their tumor. Instead of just kind of this broad spectrum, we should treat everybody the same way. So the way the study was set up, we do this special testing on the tumor itself for each person. So these are women who do not have advanced stages of cancer, small cancer, no lymph node involvement. We do a special test, a 21 gene test called the Oncotype DX testing. And this test helps give the woman a recurrence score. How likely is it that this cancer could come back in the future? So when they designed the study, the score that they can be given is 0 to 100. So if they had 0 to 10, that's very low risk. We would never offer those patients chemotherapy, and they didn't do that in the study. So they were just given hormone therapy as a blocker to try to decrease the risk of cancer coming back. High-risk patients, anybody 26 to 100, those automatically get chemotherapy, and they also then get hormone therapy afterwards. The rub is the people in the middle, kind of got this indeterminate score, somewhere between 11 and 25. And previously, we had to offer those patients chemotherapy because we didn't know. We didn't know if it would help, or if we didn't offer it, would cancer come back? They were kind of in this gray area. So the study took all the women in that gray area and randomly selected them to either get chemo with hormonal therapy afterwards or just hormonal therapy. And the exciting news was that this was 70% of the people fell into this area. And the end outcomes were that they did check for disease-free survival, so how long did they go without cancer coming back, and they also checked overall survival, so how long they lived during the study. And there was absolutely no difference between the two groups. So the good news is that if a woman is postmenopausal, over the age of 50, and they have this small cancer, they have a score in that indeterminate range, they do not benefit from chemotherapy and no longer have to be given that choice or have to be offered that. It won't help them, and it would actually harm them, and it's great news for people who have been through chemotherapy, people who know people who have been through chemotherapy, the side effects that come along with that, the hair loss and how that changes a woman and how she feels. The nausea, vomiting, sometimes permanent neuropathy in their fingertips and toes interfering with daily activity. They no longer have to experience that. The other thing the trial did help us to see is that we would still never give those patients 0 to 10 any chemotherapy, just hormonal therapy. If they're premenopausal or younger than 50, and they're kind of on the low end of that intermediate, kind of a score of 11 to 15, we say they're not going to benefit from chemo. That was proved in the study. If they are premenopausal and they have a kind of higher intermediate score, we do still offer those patients chemotherapy. They did see some benefit. And they don't know if it's just from the chemotherapy itself or that the chemotherapy kind of threw them into menopause and that made them, have the good outcome from that, but we would still offer that. But the group of people, the 70% of people, can now clearly know that they would not benefit from chemo and don't have to have it. So previously we were very uncertain on what to do with them, and now we have a definitive answer. So kind of if anybody is 75 or less, has a small tumor, no lymph node involvement, they really need to get this Oncotype score so that we can put them in the right category and give them their personalized cancer treatment. And that's very reassuring now that patients, the treatment is more driven specifically to them and their tumor. So if there's any questions, please let me know. We are excited to be expanding our services to Marshalltown. Right now, I work with 3 physicians and 1 other nurse practitioner in Waterloo. The physician that comes to Marshalltown is Dr. Bilal Rahim. He is currently coming once a month. We hope that's going to continue to increase, and he'll see patients. We see both benign, like hematology patients as well as oncology patients. And we are hoping to get chemotherapy services started here in Marshalltown in 2019 as well. So exciting changes here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a great set of information that I'm sure is valuable to everyone. Can you guys hear me okay? Oh, yeah. That everyone needs to store in your memory bank and keep there. my name is Judy Adlin, for those of you that don't know me, and I'm the chair of this event. Have a great committee. Certainly I don't do it on my own. It's definitely a committee effort. I'm here to introduce our guest speaker, or our keynote speaker, excuse me, for today. And this gal is someone that I have been happy to call my friend since junior high. And when I'm going to step back just a little bit, and when this whole stick idea came up, I took a lot of razzing for that. What are we going to do with these sticks? And it all, for some reason, it all just seemed to roll together. The beauty of the sticks, the naturalization of the sticks, and how we could turn the sticks into something that were wonderful. And this person that's going to speak to you today is, she is a person that exemplifies the idea of how sturdy a group of sticks are. I'm sorry. And like I said, we've known each other since middle school. And back in middle school, we kind of had two groups of kids. You had the kids that came to school on the bus, and they were the bus kids. And you had the kids that either walked or rode their bikes. Maybe there were some of them, but given that I'm 65 or almost 65, there weren't very many of us that got a ride to school. So we either walked or rode our bikes. The bus kids envied the city kids. The city kids envied the bus kids. And so somehow we kind of got through that. By high school, we became even better friends, and the city kids started enjoying the country, going out to this young woman's parents' home and enjoying bonfires and great parties, and vice versa. So we all kind of evolved together just the way these sticks did. And the person that I am honored to introduce today as our guest speaker is someone that is probably more sturdy than a bundle of sticks. And we were joking earlier when we took pictures, and she said, you know, I'm Superman, or Superwoman. I am so strong, and that's exactly right. She is a very strong person. She always has been. She speaks her mind, and so when it came time to think of when it came time to think of someone that could stand up here in front of you and tell a wonderful story, she was the first person that came to my mind. And the last thing I want to share is that when I did ask her, it wasn't yes, no, or maybe. It was, I'm going to have to think about this, but first I have to talk to my family. And that shows the depth of involvement that she has with her family, her friends, and her faith. And that shows through 4 tables of individuals that are here just at the crosser table. You're at crosser 1, 2, 3, or 4. And so it's my pleasure today to introduce a longtime friend of mine, Trish Crosser. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. What an introduction. Thank you so much. Now let's see if I can get through this. Good afternoon, and thank you for the privilege of speaking here today about my journey with the big C. Now I'm going to take a deep breath and quit quivering, and I'm ready to go. Okay, when Judy Adlin called me in January and extended the invitation to speak at this year's annual Breast Cancer Awareness Luncheon, I really had mixed emotions. The first being, wow, what a privilege to get asked to get in front of this group and give my story. My second emotion was, why me? My story is like everyone else's. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It felt like someone punched me in the stomach. My whole life turned upside down. I decided to have a double mastectomy because I was not going through this again. I had chemo treatments every 3 weeks for 5 months, lost all my hair, boom, bada bing, bada Can you hear me? Okay, sorry. And that's my story. So here's my first twig. So I asked Judy if I could have a couple weeks to think about it. That I wasn't worried about getting in front of this large group and speaking, because I had done this many of times with my job at Fisher Controls. The issue was getting in front of this group and talking about a subject so emotional and close to my heart. So for the next 2 weeks, I did a lot of soul searching. If I accepted this invitation, what message did I want to get across to this group? There were a lot of sleepless nights thinking about it. So when Judy called again, I said, Judy, I think I'm going to accept your invitation. But there's one more thing that I need to do, and that will help me make my final decision. And of course she said yes. So that night I was laying in bed about 3 o'clock in the morning, and pow, it was like I knew what I had to do. So I got up, got my smartphone out, sent a message to my husband and my 3 children, and said, I need your help in helping me make this decision. So I'd like you to write me a sentence, a paragraph, or a letter about how my journey with the big C has affected you in your life. I was leaving on vacation for 2 weeks, and I would really like your response when I get back. Well, their response was so touching that I'm here today to tell my story. My name is Trish Crosser, and on May 20th, 2015, I was diagnosed with malignant neoplasm, estrogen-induced, stage 1, grade 2 aggressive breast cancer. And as a good friend of mine once said, we are all breast cancer survivors because it affects you, it affects your husband, it affects your children, your family, and your friends. And your families will stick by you through it all. You will develop new and lasting friendships. And some of your friends will abandon you because they are trying to cope with their mortality. But there are things that you need to remember when going through the initial shock of being told that you have cancer. And although people that have been through it before have good intentions, please remember this. Everyone's cancer is different, and how your body reacts to it is different. Side effects of radiation and chemo are different, one not being any easier than the other. Everyone's chemotherapy cocktail, as I call it, is different. Don't let anyone tell you there's no such thing as chemo brain, because there is, because I have it. They will tell you they've never gotten sick, they worked every day, but don't let that discourage you in how you're going through it, because everybody reacts to treatment differently. I remember after one of my chemo treatments, I was complaining to my oncologist, Dr. Crow, about my energy level. You know, I'm just one that go, 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 and all of a sudden I was not going as fast as I wanted to go. But she told me, Trish, be patient, and as most of you know, I'm not very patient. It'll take you 2 years to feel alive again. And boy, she wasn't far off. Some of the side effects that I experienced was I had numbness from my knees to my feet to my toes and the tips of my fingers. Lost a lot of energy. I would sleep a lot on day 3, 4, and 5 of my treatments. And my husband could always tell when I was feeling better because the car was on the road. I was out of that house. I lost hearing in my right ear. My eyesight has been affected, and I have chemo brain. Now, I would like to talk to you about the importance of you getting your yearly mammogram, because it was my emotional ignorance that almost killed me. Like most women, I would always schedule my yearly mammogram during my birthday month because it was just easier to keep track of that way. February 2014, my dear sweet mother passed away. I was very close to her, and that left a huge void in my life. So 3 months after her passing, May came around, and my thinking, as the wise person that I am, was I'm not going to get a mammogram this year. I've gone for 20 plus years and have never found a cyst. There was no history of cancer in my family or in my mom's family or my dad's family. So I surely could miss this year, right? Now, fast forward one more year to May 2015. Time again to schedule my yearly mammogram. Nah, I don't think I'm going to do it again this year. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I was thinking. But thank goodness for my 2 daughters who were pushing me to get healthy and try out a new nutritional program that they were involved in. And to my sister Jan, who was pushing me to get my heart checked because all my siblings have had heart issues. So I finally said, all right, I'll go get my yearly physical and I'll get everything checked out. Thank God I did. But in my mind, I'm still thinking, I'm not going to get a mammogram. I don't need one, right? But with a little encouragement from my OBGYN nurse practitioner, I also scheduled a mammogram. Why? I'm thinking to myself, I am woman, I am strong, and I am invincible. But her response to me was, women should always, and let me repeat that, ladies, always have a yearly mammogram, no matter what. It's very important. So husbands, boyfriends, significant others, family, friends, please always encourage your loved ones to get their yearly mammograms. So on May 12th, I go to my mammogram appointment, and you know how it goes. You go into a room, you take all your clothes off from your waist on up. They give you a skimpy little shoulder gown. They squish your breasts between 2 hard pieces of plastic in a freezing cold room. And after they're done, they take you into another room, tell you to get dressed, and then they come back and say, you can leave now. We don't see any changes in your mammogram from last time. So you get dressed and you go home. But by the time I got home, they were calling me and saying, can you come right back? We need to do another scan. Now remember what I said. I am woman, I am strong, I am invincible. So can you guess what my response was? Sorry, I'm on my way to pick up my little neighbor girl from school, so I can't come back today. And tomorrow's Wednesday, and that's the day I play cards with my Fisher retirees, and I don't miss that for anything. So I said, if you really need me to, I guess I can come on Thursday. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I was thinking. But at that point, my thought process was still, I am turning 60 Friday. I know I have very large, dense breasts, but I have never, ever had any issues with any of my mammograms. So why would I worry now? So Thursday came, and I still have that carefree attitude. But this time, they're going to do an ultrasound. And when the tech says to me, I just can't find anything. Guess what I was thinking? See, I told you so. She leaves the room to consult one of her colleagues, and when she comes back, sure enough, not so funny now. She finds something. And even when she told me I needed to come back on Monday for a biopsy, I still was in denial. How could this be happening to me? No, I'm sure it's nothing. I even struggled with telling my husband and my children. Why should I upset them and worry them when in my mind, I knew it was nothing? Besides, I am woman, and I am strong, and I'm invincible. Right, ladies? We have places to go and people to see. We don't have time to be sick. So, why am I telling you this? Because I am living proof how important it is for everyone to get their yearly mammogram. It may be the difference between life and death. You see, I now look back and know that my mama was up in heaven giving my family heavenly nudges to get me to the doctor. Without them, I may have waited another year. And as it was, I was diagnosed with stage 1 estrogen-induced aggressive breast cancer. If I had waited one more year, who knows if I'd be standing here today. Mad? Yeah, you're dang right I'm mad. I'm mad at myself for my nonchalant attitude that almost killed me. Mad at my nonchalant attitude and what it almost put my family through. Going through breast cancer treatment was bad enough, but it could have been oh so much worse. So in conclusion, if you've noticed that I've continually been putting twigs into a container, well, I missed a few. And I know today's theme for this luncheon is a bundle of twigs can never be broken. But I'm going to expand on that a little bit. A bundle of twigs becomes a branch of strength that can never be broken. So, I would like to introduce my family of twigs that have given me the strength of a branch through my journey with the big C. So when I call your name, I want you to stand, family. They're not real excited about this. Okay, Terry, please stand. Oh, he's not happy. To my husband, Terry, who ran for buckets when I was sick, who every morning would get up and say, honey, what do you think you can eat today? And if we didn't have it, he'd go get it. Honey, thank you for being my strength. Okay, to my oldest daughter, Jill. You were my rock. You were at every doctor's appointment with your handy-dandy little notebook. And if you couldn't be there, we were teleconferencing her in. You kept those doctors and nurses in line and on task. And thank you to Jill's husband, who couldn't be here today, for sharing his wife with me when I needed her most. I love you, Benjamin. Oh, this is my special one. To my one and only favorite son. Just ask his sisters. They think he's my favorite. Well, now I lost track. Oh, here we are. I know you kept a lot of emotions inside, but you know your hugs and your phone calls were my strength. I love you. To Jeremy's amazing wife, Janet, who sent me the most loving text after my diagnosis, Trish, you're going to beat this cancer. You have to, because we all need you. I love you. To my youngest daughter, Jamie, who was sitting on the floor by my chair like my protector when I received the phone call, who took control when I could no longer keep my emotions under tow. You finished all the remaining details with the OBGYN, brought me breast cancer gifts until I had to tell you to stop. I love you. And to my remaining family, friends, and prayer warriors, thanks to each and every one of you for being my twigs that gave me the strength of a branch that can never be broken. My name is Trish Crosser, and I am a 3-year breast cancer survivor. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Deirdre Grundler, and I'm the Executive Director of Unity Point Health Marshalltown Foundation. And thank you, Trish. And thank you, Crosser family, for being here. Ooh, once again, we are honored and humbled. By the love that our survivors bring to this room each year. So thank you so much for being here. Yeah. My role today is really a bit of cleanup. Last speaker for the day, and what I get to do is very many thank yous. So I'm going to start with thanking the committee that put our event on together today. Once again, these ladies have worked for weeks to make sure that this event comes off without a hitch, to decorate these sticks in front of you that we're hoping you'll bid on and take home so that we can provide some support for our emergency food services here in town, to work with the club on a really wonderful menu, and to make sure that today's program flows without a hitch. I'm going to pull out the program so I can thank everybody by name. Of course, first we want to thank Judy Adland, who has chaired this event now for the 5th year in a row. I think for the last 3 years, Judy has said, that's it, I'm done. I'm never doing this again. You're going to have to find somebody else to lead forward. And each year she comes back. She's threatened us once again. We're hoping she comes back once again. And we're just so grateful, Judy, for your vision in bringing this year's event, for your friendship with Trish that brought such a wonderful speaker to us. And we have a small bouquet of flowers to thank you. I think if you believe that the good energy that the people in your life have sometimes touch the objects around them, you'll want to know that many or not, or if not all of these sticks came from the Adland backyard. So many or all of them are filled with that Adland love. Other members of the committee that we want to thank as well: Karen Donahue, Kathy McCune, Fauna Nord, Susan Eberhardt, and Ann Rubenbauer also helped with this year's event. And our very special kind of adjunct committee member, Kate McNulty, who comes in, Judy's cousin, each year to help us make sure the event goes up without a hitch. Thank you, all of you ladies. The lunch this year, fantastic. Yeah, the club really did a great job for us, and again, thank you to our sponsors, JBS, for providing the wonderful meal today. JBS has done so much for our community in these last 2 months. We have a number of foundation board members here today: Kathy and Judy and Wendy Soltaro, Carrie Loney. I think those are our 4 board members. Did I miss anybody else who's here from the board? Wave your hand and I'll remember to say thank you. Susan Eberhardt, that's right. Yep, as well. So thank you to the foundation board members for being here. We have a great group. Thank you to Lori who came and spoke with us. Really appreciated your comments and your words, as well as our friend Julie Gleason from Waterloo. Really great to have Allen Hospital represented today. We have representatives of Friends of Mine in the house, I think, today as well. Friends of Mine is a great nonprofit organization out of Baxter, Iowa. Each year they do their Ride for Time and some other activities, and all the proceeds that they raise go directly towards fighting breast cancer. They're supporting 3 hospitals with the proceeds right now, including Unity Point Health. So thank you to Friends of Mine for being here. I believe we also have some of the Women's Legion Golf Association members who are here today, who do a golf outing each year. And again, the proceeds from their event supports fighting cancer through early detection. So thank you for being here. The last group that I want to shout out to and mention is we have a great table of ladies from our Women's Auxiliary, from our Unity Point Health Marshalltown Auxiliary. This is Pot Pie Week. So if you haven't had your orders in for pot pies yet, if you don't know what that's all about and you want to learn a little bit more, our auxiliary table is on this end, about halfway back. You might see somebody waving some yellow slips around. They're still taking orders. Sales begin, official sales and pickup begin tomorrow. So if you don't have your pot pie, these ladies work so hard at that, and the pot pie proceeds support more great health care at your local hospital. Don't forget about the centerpiece silent auction. And I want to thank all of you for joining with us today. This event is so invigorating for all of us who are working together to reduce the impact of breast cancer within our community and the lives of people that we care about. We have a table of our diagnostic imaging folks out on the south porch. Give them a hand as well. It looks like that table is empty. They had to get back to work to screen patients, it looks like. So they were here for a little while, but we've lost them now. Please do bid on those centerpieces in front of you. Each year at this event, we have provided you an opportunity to support the Prevent Fund with a direct contribution. We're not doing that this year in any through silent auction or a formal way. But if you came today with the intent of leaving some dollars behind to support mammography in the community, there is a gift form at the table and an envelope that you could use to do that. Thank you everyone for being here. Enjoy the rest of your lunch if you still have lunch to enjoy. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you next year.